someone for the trunk of your car.
Yes, sir.
Found a few days later. Let's say if your metal wasn't found, would you be given a replacement?
It would have been replaced, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That happened in Indianapolis. We had been speaking auto workers union, and the FBI at that time, what they wanted was you don't leave the, of course, I never have just left the metal anywhere, but in a hotel, they didn't want you to leave it in a hotel while you went out to get something to eat or whatever. They said, take it off, put it in its box, put it in your briefcase, put it in the trunk of your car. So we got back, it was what, 10 o'clock at night when we got back, and dressed just like this, and I took the metal off, put it in its box, put it in the briefcase, put the briefcase in the trunk. We went up to the room, spent the night, got up the next morning. We had a 8 o'clock meeting, I believe, so it was a little after 7 when we went down to the trunk of the car to get my metal, and when I opened it up, it was gone. Everything in the trunk was gone. Well, immediately I did what the FBI told me to do. I called the FBI in Washington, D.C., and within 12 minutes,
Wasn't very long.
we had Jesus Christ and all of his disciples were at that. And that started the process. The metal was gone 3 nights and 4 days. What had happened was when I put the metal in the trunk, there had been a kid watching, and he was stealing stuff out of cars that he was going to use to, they were having a drug party in the hotel, and he was going to take it up and swap whatever it is for drugs. Well, when he seen me put this in the car, he thought, well, it must be something worth some value, so he got the metal, took the whole briefcase and took it up. And when he opened the briefcase and see the metal and laying in the box, there was a young man there that I had spoken to his class when he was in the 6th grade. And he said he knew what it was and he knew who it belonged to. And he said, I just couldn't let him have it. So he never actually said that he had a fight with him, but he said that there was some tension, quite a bit of tension in the room. And he took the briefcase and he put brickbats in it so it would sink, drilled holes in it, because it was a Pelican briefcase, they float, and drilled holes in it and threw it in the White River, and then called the police and told them where he had thrown the briefcase and what was in it. Well, the police at first thought it was kind of a joke, or they didn't really truly believe him, but they followed through on it and then found out that next morning that, yep, the metal had been stolen. So that enacted everything. It took them 2 days to gather the investigation to the point that they actually dove, and it was exactly where Brad said that he had thrown it. And we've got pictures of the Navy diver, Air Force diver.
No, fire department.
Thank you. Fire department diver. Fire department diver. The kid had been in the Navy, and it was his first dive for the fire department. And you can see the briefcase sticking up out of the water. That was, took a picture of it. Don't have it on. The ribbon snapper had been replaced, but that's the original metal, and it's got a story too. Cool. Yes, sir.
Sir, good evening, Manufacturing Group. Sir, if I recall correctly from reading your bio, it was your video of receiving the metal that was used in the movie Forrest Gump.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering if you just kind of speak about that a little bit.
We have on the real Forrest Gump. I got a call from the Pentagon, and they told me that, Sam, there's a movie company here that is wanting virtually every piece of video that we have on you, whether in combat, if we have it, they want it. And I said, well, what are you going to do with it? Well, they're going to make a movie out of it. Well, what's the movie going to be called? Well, we don't know. Well, what's the corporation, or what's the movie company's name? Well, we don't know that either. Well, the Pentagon would call back once or twice a month and update on it, and that's basically all I knew about it for quite a time period. At that point, I lived in Flat Rock, Illinois, and on the road, traveling, speaking 200+ days a year. When we get home, we go into Walmart to do shopping or the grocery store or whatever, and people would say, Sam, there was a guy here asking a question about you. And I said, well, what'd you tell him? Well, I told him the story about da-da-da-da-da. Okay, well, as long as you tell him the truth, it's okay. There was a famous writer that has a home in Robinson, Illinois. What was his name?
James Jones.
James Jones. He
Good thing
wrote-
I'm here.
And this home, writers that have middle blocks can rent the house, and supposedly what it does, it gets rid of the middle block. Well, that's where this guy was staying. And he'd come in and usually a week at a time and stay there and ask questions. Everybody, he'd go down to the VFW, American Legion, Walmart, wherever, and just stand there and ask questions. Well, this was nothing unusual. As a Medal of Honor recipient, there's always people doing stories, you know, reporters and stuff on me, so it wasn't nothing new. And it wasn't until much later that we figured out that it was going to be a movie called Forrest Gump. Well, I found the book, Forrest Gump, and I didn't like the book. The book was negative and I didn't like, I don't know if you ever read the book. The book is negative in my opinion. So when the movie came out, we went to see the movie, and it was a pretty good movie. I wondered why they made Forrest slow. I mean, I realize I'm not the brightest bulb in the closet, but, you know, well, later it was explained to me the reason why they did that. They wanted everyone to truly understand that whatever Forrest was able to accomplish, anybody can, because Forrest was slow. You don't understand that? And the only similarities between Dixie and Jenny is that I love Dixie as much as Forrest loved Jenny. No other similarities.
Great answer.
Which means you know, I sell my medal or. The first time that I got to be with Lieutenant Dan, and we were at a Lieutenant Dan band concert that was in Chicago. And I walked up dressed just like this. I was supposed to give a little talk that day in conjunction with Gary's performance. And I said, I'm the real Forrest Gump. And he was very kind to me. And I was sitting backstage waiting for my turn to come on, and some of the roadies, stagehands, were coming by. They didn't know who I was. And they were coming by and they said, yeah, Gary just said there's some crazy guy there saying he's Forrest Gump. They were told that Forrest Gump was not based on anyone living. So it took a while to bring Gary up to speed. And Tom Hanks, I've got to meet Tom. I did not meet Tom Hanks in relation to the movie. I met Tom Hanks in dedicating the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. That's where Tom and I got to know one another. And his response was the same as Gary's. You know, he was very nice, shook my hand. But later I heard, yeah, there's this crazy back here guy saying he's Forrest Gump. Well, now they understand. They understand. There's so many things in the movie that you can see relays to my life. The running all across America, well, with my legs, I did not run, but they chose to depict it as physically running when that's what the family has always said. Where's Dad? Well, he's out running around America somewhere, you know. That's just the way it's always been. There are so many things that tie directly into my life that it's very clear where the story came from.
Well, and then you know the reason. If they would have said
Oh, yeah.
you were real, they would have had to.
Yeah, if the movie's name would have been Sammy Davis, they'd had to pay me. And they don't have to pay for it. I've had lawyers from the East Coast and lawyers from the West Coast want me to sue virtually anyone and everyone that had anything to do with the movie. And when I asked them why, they said, we can make millions of dollars. I said, there are some things more important than money. When I talk to high schools all across the nation, and most of them already know that I'm Forrest Gump, and when I ask them the lessons that they learned out of the movie, well, of course there's life like a box of chocolates, but predominantly what they say is you don't lose until you quit trying. That's the one thing that I asked them, if they could find some place to put, this is what I told the Pentagon, if they could find some place to put the lesson that I learned in Vietnam, you don't lose till you quit trying, if they could incorporate that someplace in the movie, I would really appreciate it. And they did an excellent job. And that's one of the things that the young people of America America give back to me was they say, you know, life's like a box of chocolates, you don't lose till you quit trying. Well, if I was to give each one of those kids $10, but they didn't know about you don't lose till you quit trying, it wouldn't be the same. The value of them knowing in their heart that no matter what you're faced with, you don't lose until you quit trying, that's worth more than money. And I don't want to, if I would sue the filmmakers and Winston Groom, the author, that would bring a negative context to it, and I don't want to do that. The lawyers don't understand, but most people do. Cool. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
So that long way about the play. I remember from the film you said that you had watched someone else receive the Medal of Honor and you decided that you wanted to be a soldier like him. As a Morrisville High School graduate, I know that it's hard to believe that someone from a small farm town is going to make much of a difference. Did you expect to win the Medal of Honor or just be a soldier like him?
I had never had any dreams of earning the Medal of Honor. All I wanted to do was to be the best soldier that I could be. And that's what I'm still trying to do, just trying to be the best soldier that I can be. I knew about the Medal of Honor, but that was not even in my dreams to earn it. You know, I mean, I just wanted to be the best soldier I could be. Yes, ma'am. And I still don't believe that I deserve the Medal of Honor because I didn't do anything. My family knows me and they know that I'm not a hero. They do know that I say what I mean or I mean what I say, but I'm no hero. I do what's right. I don't lose till I quit trying. But I'm not really a hero. I'm just.
I don't agree. I don't think your family thinks that's real.
Well, I'm just still trying to do my job. Next question.
Sometimes you can be kind of a butt.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Weiser, repairs. Did you ever get to meet the Medal of Honor recipient that you saw that first time, or like got to meet him?
Roger Donlin? Got Roger Donlin is like a brother to me. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. On the National Medal of Honor Memorial is in Indianapolis. Did y'all know that? The National Medal of Honor Memorial is in White River Park. They're by the, what's that, the soldiers. It's where the Civil War, or.
Near the Marriott, the new Marriott.
Yes, ma'am. It's on the canal. They're on by West Street. And I would encourage each of you to go there. And when you go there and you go to the Vietnam section of it, you'll see Roger Donlin's name, and my name's right next to his. And every time I see that, I just go, cool. It just makes my heart feel good. Everybody have the opportunity to hold the medal? Next question. Yes, sir.
Sir, Cadet Knight, Delta Flight, if you had the opportunity to go back to the area where the fighting occurred?
I have had many opportunities to go back to Vietnam, and so far I haven't been big enough yet. But I think I've reached that point now. I think I can go back. In fact, I want to go back. I would like to go back and meet some of the people that were there, other of my former enemy that were there if possible. I think that's, now I wish I'd have done it a long time ago, but I couldn't do it yet. Yes, sir.
Sir, could I film self-flight? When you were helping your comrades out that you saw were injured, did any of the other men rally to your cause to help you?
Well, most definitely. No, most definitely. Now, the other men were still, most of the other men were still running. We had started off with 4 artillery pieces. 2 were knocked out immediately. One of the guns was mine. The other 2 guns were picking up, trying to do the job, and that's a big job. Because they were still trying to support the infantry and keep the enemy off of us. So they were working very hard. Frank Gage from Buffalo, New York. Bill Murray from Lenore, North Carolina. Gilbert Cole from down around Houston, Texas. Marvin Hart were there with me, helping me. Bill Murray and Frank Gage are the ones that pulled me out of the river when my body had, after I brought everybody back across. And when I got the three guys back across and up on the bank, my body just kind of quit. You know, I'd done my job, and that's how I remember feeling in my heart. Well, I'd done my job, and I was just ready to sink, and they helped get me out of the river. Like I said in the video, if any of us had not done our job that night, none of us would have survived, because it took all of us to help each other and do our job so we could survive. And this week in Indianapolis, the 11th, that's to, yeah, we're gathering in Indianapolis at the Marriott, I think, and there's, so far there's like 17. Now, not all of us, we had new groups of troops come in, and some of them will be there too, but we're having our gathering in Indianapolis this year. So that'll be great. We'll be able to see everybody again. I get to see most of the guys. Of the men that were with me that night, there's 7 of us left. And I get to see most of them every year because we travel everywhere, but they're gathered.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Next question. Yes, sir.
Sir, the Prendergast about the fight. Sir, in the film, you mentioned that you heard the whistles blown from the NBA before they began their attack.
Yep.
How did you prepare for that mentally, knowing that what was coming?
How do you prepare for that?
Or how did you prepare for it?
You have to rely on your training. That was, and it may sound foolish right now to say I don't remember being scared, but I don't remember being scared. I remember hurting real bad. I remember asking the man above to give me the strength to do my job. I had been trained very well on how to fire the howitzer, on how to fire the M16, on how to, you know, everything that I was able to accomplish that night. I had had a great deal of training how to do that, and that's what I just kept asking the man above to keep, you know, and he did. I don't remember, now afterwards, for the last 45 years, I've been terribly frightened. But at that point, going through it, I don't remember being frightened. I did my job. I did my job. And I hope you all never get to the point that you truly understand what I'm saying, because that means you have been through similar circumstances. I just did my job. Yes, sir. That one, sir. Put this on now? Sure. How are we doing on time, Greg?
Good.
We're
How
good?
about some of your leadership people that were over you?
General William Childs Westmoreland. Have y'all heard of General William Childs Westmoreland? General Westmoreland, about 2 weeks prior to the night that I earned this medal, General Westmoreland gave me a pair of new boots. And we out on an operation, and we had 4 guns, and we were firing a sustained fire, which means the enemy were in contact with our troops. Thank you. Our job was we were to have 1 round exploding on the ground every second. Boom, 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 boom. We had 4 guns, so the guns were going boom, 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 boom. And then we would move it back in increment, which was get it closer to the enemy. And theoretically, what it's supposed to do is supposed to make the enemy back up away from our guys. Well, in reality, what we found was the enemy found out early on that all they've got to do is, you know, hunker down, and the rounds will pass over them, and then they can get up and attack our enemy, and then you got to go through the whole process again. But anyway, we were in a sustained fire, and because the enemy were like 6 miles away from us, Westy came in 3 helicopters behind us and set down. Where we were, there were no enemy. And the helicopter set down, and we heard the captain say, well, I can't say exactly what he said, but he said, "It's General Westmoreland, Supreme Commander. Just do whatever he wants." Well, when Westy came up onto the gun, the captain said, just do whatever he wants. You quit firing, the other 3 guns will just pick up this pace, so we'll keep the rounds exploding like we're supposed to, everything will be all right. And we were the last gun that Westy came upon. Now, we were really shorthanded. On stateside, when you train on a 105 howitzer, there's 8-man crew. In Vietnam, we usually only had 3, sometimes we had 4 men. That day, we only had 3 men. So when Westy came upon our gun, we quit firing, we locked up. Westy came up, he talked to the other 2 men first, and he was asking the questions, do you have the services of a priest or rabbi, whatever you require? Are you getting your mail from home? Are you getting your 1 hot meal a day? Those are the kind of questions that generals ask troops. And of course, we knew as a private that our job was to say, "Sir, everything is wonderful." That was our job. Well, when Westy, now, because we didn't know that this was going to happen, the way we fought the war